Welcome to the Penny Z Show, where you get to learn how real people overcame real issues. Get ready to take notes and, most importantly, take action. Here's your host, Penny Z.
Hi, this is Penny Z with the Penny Z Show, and we are transforming lives one life at a time, talking about real, relevant, and relatable topics. We are in the Overcoming Your I'm Not Enough series, and I am so excited to have Diane Forster on our show today. So Diane Forster is an award-winning inventor, bestseller, author, TEDx speaker, TV host, podcaster, intentional living expert, and reinventionist specialist. She works with clients privately and helps you clear away mindset blocks and limiting beliefs that can block you from reaching your full potential in business, life, and in relationships. Diane is a CEO and founder of I Have Today. Her book, I Have Today, her TV show, I Have Today with Diane Forster, and her podcast, I Have Today with Diane Forster, all helps to bring products and programs to help women live enriched lives, empower, inspire through their transitions, and to reinvent themselves. Diane's career began in advertising and TV sales, including Disney ABC. She is also the inventor of the Inventor. I can't wait to hear more about that. A fun kitchen tool that won an innovation award at the International Houseware Show in Chicago. Diane has been featured on ABC, QVC, the Chicago Tribune, also the San Diego Voyager, Business News Daily, and many other TV, radio, and podcast shows. She has written articles for Inventor's Digest magazine and writes an inspirational weekly blog. Diane is a mother of twins and lives in San Diego. Her mission is to help 1 billion women who don't know their self-worth discover their true divinity, power, and purpose. I met Diane at a CEO summit in San Diego this last summer and wish I had more time to talk to her. She is an incredible woman, and I am so grateful that she is here with us on the Penny Z Show today. Welcome, Diane.
Thank you, Penny. Thank you for having me. It is truly a privilege and an honor to be here, and I'm excited. I'm excited about the show.
Thank you. Well, I never feel like I do my guest justice. So if there's anything else you would like to share with our audience about your backstory and your bio, please do before we get into your overcoming your I'm Not Enough story.
What I want to say about it is, yes, I've done a lot in my life and career, and it's been diverse. And like you said, worked in advertising, worked in television sales, created an award-winning product and book, and all of the things that I've done. I just want to say that it sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, but it's certainly been a journey, and there's been ups and downs along the way, and the path to success is really putting one foot in front of the other each and every day, and that's really what it's all about. So I know sometimes people hear that and they think, oh God, I could never do all that. I'm no different than anybody else. We can all do whatever it is we want. And so much of my mission is about that. Like you said, I'm committed to seeing that 1 billion women who don't know their self-worth discover their true divinity, power, and purpose, because it is my firm belief, knowing what I've been through my own reinvention and my own transitions, that we're limited by nothing except our limiting beliefs. And so you can have it all. You deserve it. You're worthy of it. You just got to believe it and take the action steps to get you there. And surround yourself with people like us, doing this kind of work, what you're doing, Penny, what I'm doing. Surround yourself with community and information and resources that help you and guide you on your path to whatever.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, Diane. Now, if you would do me a favor, because I've heard your story and I'm so excited for you to share your story, but it is, like all of us have experienced in life, not everything is easy or fun or enjoyable. And so would you just share a little bit of your overcoming your I'm not enough and where that started for you?
Definitely. I think, thank you for giving me this platform to share my story. So, like I said, I spent 32 years in advertising, and while I was doing that, came up with my product idea, and now I'm doing what I'm doing now. And there was a lot of success in my life, but it wasn't anything. That getting into TV sales and advertising was something that I fell into. It wasn't like something I went after, but I went on this path and I liked it and I was good at it, so I stuck with it. And so my journey of not feeling enough is really started in my personal relationship with my former husband. And I married a man and spent over 20 years with him, married to him. And it was a relationship where we loved each other, but we weren't in love with each other. And that relationship fell apart pretty early on, and I struggled with it for over 2 decades. And I kept this secret hidden to the outside world. So I went in and out of therapy and struggled with a lot of things. And there were peaks and valleys throughout our life together, and, changes in jobs, my mother's cancer and her passing away. I had infertility issues, and then ultimately gave birth to my twins. And my whole journey in that relationship was where I kept trying to fill what wasn't there on an intimate and true connection that I was seeking and longing for so much with other things. So food, alcohol, shopping, friends. And then once my kids were born, life became all about them. And so my needs as a woman and a person really got put further and further and further on the back burner. And when you live like that and keeping up that front where everything looks so good on the outside, where we truly had it all, the material things, you can't live like that, indefinitely. You will implode. And what was happening to me is I was getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And in June of 2011, it was a regular Saturday afternoon, and we were busy running errands with the kids, taking them to and from, sports practices. And we ended up at some friend's house for a barbecue that night. And everybody was there having a great time. But when we got in the car to go home, the fighting started. And as soon as we got in the house, I went up to the bathroom, locked myself in there, and took out 2 full bottles of prescription pain pills that I had sitting in there from a surgery I had the year before. That was literally killing me, Penny. I mean, I was literally, killing myself from the inside out. And my mother had died of colon cancer, and now I had part of my colon removed. And so it was just so stressful. I had those pills in there, and I took them and I had them in my hand, and I had a God moment, and the pills got knocked out of my hand, and the voice screamed in my ear, Diane, you are not ending your life this way. You need to go get help so that you can tell your story and you can help others. And I just threw my hands up and said, well, you need to show me the way, because I don't know what to do. But the next day I reached out and I called a therapist and left a message, and I said, I need help. I'm changing my life. And I started seeing her and working with her. And it took another 6 months for that relationship to end. And I had a brief pity party for myself because there were other things that transpired in the relationship. And about a month or so into that, I woke up one day and I had already started a meditation and journaling practice. But that day I decided to do a chant. And I started chanting, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you, over and over and over again for 20 minutes. And it was so cathartic and healing, and tears were streaming down my face. I was releasing so much, and I was forgiving myself, and I was forgiving him, and I was forgiving everything that happened. And when I stopped that, I stood up, and all of a sudden I was empowered, and I owned everything. I took ownership of the condition of my life. I said, it's not outside of me. I'm the one responsible for the condition of it. I was the enabler. I didn't set healthy boundaries. I stayed, I didn't love myself or value myself enough to make a change. And of course there was fear involved, but I said, but no more. I want an extraordinary life, and I'm going to do everything I can to get it. And so I went on this quest of personal development, self-help, spiritual awakening, getting my hands on everything I could, and just ingesting all of this information. And I started healing in a really profound way. And I am highly intuitive anyway, but all of that that lay dormant for so long got fired up, and I was writing and creating and getting ideas and inspiration like crazy. And so 2 years after the bathroom incident, after, you know, healing and waking up and becoming this new version of me, where I really was falling in love with me, truly, and loving and valuing myself, I would wake up with these bursts of inspiration in the middle of the night. And in August of 2013, I woke up with a poem called I Have Today in my head. And after I finished writing it, and I had written so many other poems, but this one was special. And I read it and I looked at it and I said, in fact, it's sitting right back there. I see it every day. I said, this is way more than a poem. This is a movement. This is a platform for me to help other women who don't know their self-worth to discover their true divinity, power, and purpose. Because if I was living in this quiet hell for so long, how many other thousands, if not millions, of women are too? Mm-hmm. And so that was the day the idea of I Have Today was birthed. So fast forward 2 years later, my twins graduated high school and I made a very bold move. I quit my job at ABC with no net. I got my twins off to college. I sold my house. I sold all my belongings, and I mean everything. I didn't have a dish, a towel, nothing. And I moved out to San Diego from Chicago with my spifters, my kitchen product, and my clothes, and a dream and a mantra of, I just want to see where this goes. And so 3 years later, all of this amazing stuff has happened to me because I stepped over that line and took that leap of faith into the unknown. And I allowed the universe to bring to me so many gifts and accomplishments. And you read my bio, you know, I've done and accomplished so much. And now I'm helping so many other people. And I feel purposeful and alive every single day. And I bless that bathroom moment because it was the catapult that got me out of that life and pivoted it to turn it around and change the trajectory to what it is today. So that feeling of not being enough and getting that low gave me the strength to turn it around and realize, oh yes, I am. I'm worth everything. And so now I help others to really feel that empowered divinity that they are, purposeful and driven and alive and excited about life every single day. So,
well, and I'm glad that you're doing that. I'm glad you're a guest on our show. And so thank you for being bold and taking your life back, and not only doing it for yourself, but now doing it for so many other people, 1 billion people that you're going to be reaching and helping. I want to go back just a little bit. And there was a couple things that you mentioned that I'd like to just expand on. You know, one of the things, and I share a different story, but similar feelings and experiences, in that I was going through a separation and a divorce and changing my life and restarting my business and just in a real, what I woke up one morning and in a real fog, in a real depression, kind of trying to figure out how I got where I got. Sure. And now what do I do to get myself back out of it? And you are correct. The first thing is, you know, stress does affect your health. And so I was overweight, I was unhappy, I had aches and pains. And so, you know, I had to learn how to kind of gain my power back and control my health as well. But one of the things in my process, and I bring this to kind of compare and have you expand on yours, I had that kind of one aha moment. And at first I woke up and I was in this huge fog or huge depression. And I call it a situational depression because the situations that I created and that I chose to be in is what was causing my unhappiness and not self-worth and lack of self-confidence. And it took everything in my being just to wake up in the morning and take care of my 2 little doggies and do the have-tos of the day, whether it was for the household or whether it was for my business. I was in real estate and restarting my real estate business. And so one morning, after a while, probably about 1.5 years, just woke up and said, I have had enough. I have to take back my life. And I hear that experience differently, but similar in your bathroom story. And can you share with our audience maybe 1 or 2 pearls of what if they're in a situation similar to ours, similar to yours, where they're depressed, they're down, they've been in a fog, they know that they need to make that choice, that change to retake their life back. What are some suggestions and what are some of the things that you did in order to help that transition, to start changing that path?
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you for that. I'm going to share 6 principles that, if you know, I know it's really hard when you are in the, mired in the muck of your life and you can't even, like you said, lift the fog and see any hope. Like it's a struggle just to even get out of bed. This may seem daunting and overwhelming, but just take what you need and understand that it is a process, like you said, Penny, and it was a process for me too. It did not happen overnight. What did happen is the commitment and the consistency to it. That is when the real change happens, and it happens fast. When you just are so committed to having a happy, fulfilling life. So the first thing I would say is, I always say this to everybody, and I feel this because I work with clients privately too, and I'm around a lot of people speaking in different ways. The first thing you can do always in any situation is just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. We're not oxygenated enough, and we are always one breath away from feeling some sense of relief. So please do deep breathing, and you will start to feel better. And that's free, right? And easy. All you got to do is deep breathe, right? Mm-hmm. But the 6 principles that I'd love to share with you are things that I implemented and I learned in my processes. And I'm a big hacker. I want to figure things out. I want to create triggers. I want to know how to pivot those negative thoughts as fast as possible. And this is what worked for me. Number 1 was starting a meditation practice. It is truly the thing that catapulted me out of that state of depression too, and really turned things around so fast. So I am going to highly encourage you to meditate if you don't meditate. And I've got practices in my book. Feel free to reach out to me. Go on YouTube. Like, there's so many free resources out there. It's crazy, but start a meditation practice because it's so good for you, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. Like, the benefits are off the charts. Number 2 is to start a journaling practice. And we talk, a lot about this in general. I know you do in your work and I do in my work. Journaling is a way to start getting out of that head and get your ideas down, get your gratitude and appreciation down. Just start to create that opportunity to receive information like I did. I received so much information. I could see visualizations of my life. I could see ideas. I could see hope. If you can envision that, right? Right. So journaling was number 2. Number 3 was moving my body. And whether that was a walk around the block or, an exercise class or going dancing with girlfriends or something, get the endorphins and that serotonin moving and flowing in your body, because it's so good for depression and it helps you so much. Mm-hmm. Number 4 is setting intentions. So that is really a key part of living a very intentional life and being able to not let outside circumstances be the thing that controls you. You get to decide how you want to live and how you want to feel. And I say this all the time. We live in this great big world, but the only world that matters is this one between our ears. What we think, how we feel, what we perceive. And so you get to decide that. Happiness truly is a choice. It's not conditional. You get to choose. And if you could just decide that you want to feel a little bit better and you want to just experience your life in a little bit better way, and you express that and intend that, it will start to shift things. The next one is forgiveness, and forgiveness is so freeing. It is so powerful. Forgiveness is so healthy for you, and it starts with forgiveness of self. And then number 6 is gratitude. Having gratitude and appreciation, having gratitude for the breath in your lungs that, like I told you to breathe. We get this day. That is all we get. That's all we're guaranteed. We don't know if we're going to wake up tomorrow, and 151,000 people didn't today. So what a gift that is for you. and the bed you get to sleep in at night. Have appreciation for that. You know, the sunshine on your face, the cup of coffee you get to drink in the morning. I mean, we're so blessed and lucky, and we take so many of these things for granted. So having gratitude and looking for the gratitude in everything. So I know that's kind of a lot, but if you're mired in the muck and you can't see a way out, if you start implementing these principles, your life is going to start shifting fast. I promise you it will.
Yes, you know, Diane, I couldn't agree with you more. I started with your 6th point. And so thank you, first off, for sharing those with me and with the listeners. They seem simple, but really it's something that you just have to do, you know, day in and day out. And so when you're kind of in the muck and you're in the mess and you're in the fog, it's hard to think, well, I have to change my spiritual and my health and, you know, all these different areas. And so I started with gratitude, like you had mentioned, which was number 6. And when I was in my fog, I decided that I was going to do a gratitude journal. And it was just, I had to put 5 things down on paper every night at the end of the day. What was I grateful for? And like you had mentioned, sometimes it's just the basics. It's the air in your lungs. It's the food in your belly. It's the roof over your head. It's the bed you sleep in, and love from loved ones. You know, for me, it was the love of my 2 doggies. And what I realized is when you start doing these 6 different steps that you have talked about, and for me, it was starting with meditation was the first way I started to take back my power. And it really empowered and shifted my mind to not only start thinking about the basics in life, but then I started deciding, what can I do in my day that I would be proud of to add to my gratitude journal? And I think that's when you start seeing more of that positive mind shift. And that's when you're starting to change the message and change the music in your head, so to speak. And going from that, you know, depression and not feeling good enough to taking back power in one aspect of your life. And so I'm so glad that that's part of your 6th step. And you mentioned that, because for me, that's how I started taking back my power, was just doing very simple gratitudes every day that turned into 5 gratitudes, turned into 6 gratitudes, turned into sometimes 10 gratitudes. And it wasn't about me anymore. And it wasn't about the basics. It was like, who am I grateful for? Other people had, you know, wins that day that I got to share in or hear about. And so that's fantastic that you have that as part of your intentional empowerment and, you know, redesign programs for your coaching programs for the people that you're talking about. One of the things I'd like for you just to share a little bit more on, because I think it's so important and we don't talk enough about, is the forgiveness of yourself. You had mentioned that's one of the 6, and we hear so much that we should forgive others or forgive and forget, but we don't always think about it in doing it for ourselves. How does that affect? What can you share a little bit more with our audience on that piece of the pie, so to speak?
Well, I'm so glad you asked this, because I write about it in my book, that there are 3 levels of forgiveness. Forgiveness starts with self first. We have to start within. First of all, everything is within, but truly forgiveness is one of the key places to start, because whatever is showing up in your life or has happened in your life, whether you perceive it as someone doing something to you, or you know, whether it's abuse or neglect or, you know, violation or whatever that thing is, there is a part of us that goes immediately to, well, what did I do to deserve this? Or, you know, what could I have done differently to avoid this from happening to me? You know, and, you know, how could I let that happen? All of those conversations we start asking ourselves. So it's imperative that we go in within us and forgive ourselves and just let ourselves off the hook. We are always doing the best we can from where we are. Always, always. And, you know, each and every day, some days are shine brighter than others, but we are always doing the best we can from where we are. And so forgiveness of self is number 1. Number 2 is forgiveness of the other person or the event or the experience. And it's not to say that you have to say to someone's face, I forgive you, because I know there's a lot of bad things that happen to people out there. It's forgiving them within yourself, okay? So releasing that chokehold that it holds on you, because that poison that you're holding on to is not hurting them. It's hurting you. So I think who said, I can't remember if it was Rumi or who said drinking poison is like expecting the other person to die. You know, it's just not going to happen. So forgive that person so that you can let it go and free yourself of it and move on. And then the third one is to go back and forgive yourself again, because we continually beat ourselves up over the same things over and over again. Have you noticed that we do that? You know, we think we've moved on, but something happens. We hear a song or somebody mentions something or something reignites that experience again, and we go back to beating ourselves up. So we need to be able to forgive ourselves again, like go back to that forgiveness right away so that you're not wallowing in that state again. Because here's what's happening, Penny. Our subconscious mind is literal. It doesn't understand past, present, and future, and it only knows now. So when those things, we think those thoughts over and over again, we're living in our past, we're regretting it. There's guilt, shame, doubt, fear, whatever from the past. And the same thing, projected worry and anxiety of the future, your subconscious thinks it's going on now and it's happening now. And it truly is in your subconscious mind and on a cellular level. So you experience all that negative energy again. So that's another really important reason why forgiveness is so powerful and so important, to really start with forgiveness of self and be easy on yourself and let yourself off the hook.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. That's just so fantastic. I just want to ask you, I know we're getting ready to wrap this up here, but if you have any kind of final words of wisdom for our listeners, anything that you would like to share with them in them helping their journey. And then if you would please do me the honor and our listeners the honor of how they can get a hold of you, listen to you. We will also have that on our website and our social media. So there will be links to obviously Diane's website and podcast. But Diane, if you would just kind of share any last minute or any last words for our audience, that would be great.
Of course, I'm happy to. You know, you titled this, you know, Overcoming the Not Enough, the feeling of being not enough. Just by you being born, you're enough. You are already complete and you are enough. And I do a lot of mantra meditations and a lot of affirmations and all sorts of things, which I'll tell you about in a second. But even if you just start saying today, every day, I am enough. I am enough. I have today to be enough. I have today to be enough. I have today to be enough. Please start doing that. Start loving yourself that way, to know that you are enough. And that is really a powerful, powerful affirmation. So, and yes, I'd love to share all of my resources with you, which I know, Penny, you're going to put links up for. But I have Today with Diane Forster is my YouTube channel, with tons of resources there. It's my TV show on Facebook Live every Wednesday night at 5:30 Pacific time. And it's also my podcast on iTunes. So I would love you to subscribe, rate, and review there. And the thing with the podcast is at the end of each podcast, I do a mantra meditation, an empowering mantra meditation. One for love, one for money, one for success, one for happiness. So that will be a powerful tool for you to reprogram those limiting beliefs and not feeling enough there. And of course, go to my website, Diane Forster, a lot of resources there. And my work is all focused on intentional living, but it's focused on mindset, emotions, and language. Your words matter, and the way you think and the way you feel and the way you speak is exactly what's showing up in your life. So watching your language is so important. And what I discovered is I've created this 10 Days to Your Passion and Purpose program because a lot of people feel stuck. They don't know what they want. They don't know what's true for them. They're not sure what they're passionate about anymore, or what gives them, what's a peaceful mindset, or what their purpose is. And so this 10-day program is at I Have Today. That's the website. And it's 10 days. It's an online program, 10 days, 10 videos, 10 journal exercises for $10. So for $1 a day, you're going to get your customized life plan and blueprint for what is really true for you and what matters to you. And it's a powerful, powerful program that's really going to create that focus, that clarity, and that excitement in your life. You're going to start dreaming again and wake up each day jumping out of your bed, excited about the day in front of you. So that's what I would like to offer your audience. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate that. And to all the audience, I've actually gone through her 10-step, 10-day program, and I highly encourage you to do that, especially as Diane said, if you're stuck or needing to kind of make that pivot, it's a great place to start. It's a great value, and then that will get you introduced to Diane, her program, her different offerings, and I am just so, again, blessed and humbled and honored to have her on our show and to help her accomplish reaching 1 billion people and helping them change their lives. So Diane, thank you again. For all of those who want information about Diane, we will have her links on our website and our social media. So thank you so much. And I actually, every week I do a challenge, and as you were talking, we're gonna post our challenge for the week, and that's for all of our listeners and our audience to go home and in your workplace, in your home, in your car, wherever you can, I want you to write, print out from your computer, put it on your iPhone or Android, I am enough, or I am more than enough. And I want you to look at that every day. So that's going to be our weekly challenge for all of our listeners. So this is Penny Zelenkoff and the Penny Z Show. Thanks again, Diane Forster. All the wonderful success to you and your business that I have today, enterprise. And thank you so much for listening. Have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you so much for listening. If you want to hear more, including specific ways to empower yourself, go to thepennyzshow.com.